doing today? What we're going to be working on today is going to be looking at golf. And when you're doing golf, golf is a lot of fun. We have opportunities with golf with using all different types of irons that you'll learn as you get a little bit older. But mainly right now the idea is to really get used to the fun of it, holding, the positioning, and going from there. So there'll be a lot of things that are important within the scope of getting up to be able to hit a golf ball. You pretty much want to be able to make sure you can have an opportunity to get yourself into a level frame of mind. So you don't want to be back too far because you don't get too much opportunity to get a good hit on the ball, because you want to make sure it's a good balance to be able to get a good swing that I'm going to be able to get through to this. So the whole idea that when I'm getting through is I want to make sure that I'm in a good position to be able to hit a ball. So the main parts of myself and my stance is I don't want to be behind the ball too much, I don't want to be in front of it too much, I want to have the balance. So when I have a balance, I'm able to keep myself a little bit positioned on the ball. And the main thing is too, is to make sure that I'm not too square up. If I'm too high up, then it's going to be too stiff. I want to make sure I'm into it a little bit more, so this way when I do get my stroke leverage into it, I'm able to make the connection and try to make a little bit more of an even hit on the ball. So a couple things have to come in to consideration. So making sure that you're holding the club right, okay? A couple different ways to hold it. I can hold it with two hands down in here, which is a little bit more. Some like a little bit wider grip where they can hold on to a little bit more. Some like a little bit more where they can give a little bit more advantage to where I can get through and I can really give myself an opportunity to really hit on the ball. But for younger, starting out people, younger toddlers, we want to be able to start showing the basics of just kind of how to hold a club. Now, what I wanted to show you is there's even smaller, of course, yet. But I brought some of the smaller ones I had right now. This is a little bit more what they call a girl set, and this is a girl's kind of set because girl set's a little bit more of, when we're looking at the driver, it's supposed to be a little bit more of a thinner driver, and it also has the coloring also, so it's more of a girl set, but younger can use this as well. I have mine geared for me, and of course when you're trying to getting used to hitting the ball, you just want to make sure I'm trying to aim over into there, and I'm not going to hit it yet. I'm just trying to give you my positioning and trying to get you my stance on how I hold. Now, I hold with here so I have even thumb opportunity here. I don't hold back here. I don't wrap around in here. I try to keep it nice and level. And if you watch some of the more professional people that are into, you'll see the same kind of hold that they have as well. Some hold a little higher, some hold a little bit lower, but the majority, everybody always has a little bit of crossover. You're not going to ever have them separated. They're going to be together so they can hold on to the club firmly and to make sure you can get something on the ball. So, like I said, I'm just going to get a couple practice. I'm not going to hit the actual thing yet. I'm just getting into my idea and my mindset to be able to hit it. And you can see I'm level with the balls. I have one also here that you can use indoor, which is called a wiffle ball. That can be used indoor and outdoor. Okay. This one's for the outdoor right now. The one I'm working with right now. It's just like a regulation ball. And I'm just trying to get my even stroke part onto the ball. So now I'm making a first attempt onto a ball. Okay, so I got my levelness on with my feet. The ball also. Chin should be around where the ball is, not in front of it. Should be right where it is. Shoulders right now are just squared right now, right by my knees. And so I'm able to slightly bend my knees. I don't want to keep myself too straight. I'm going to slightly bend. And then I just want to go through. And that was my first attempt, of course, and it made it in. Okay? The idea is to try to get that little bit of an opportunity to hit in, to get a little bit focused on, start understanding how to hit, right in there. Just like I was doing a second ago. And all I was trying to do is trying to get into a little bit of a distance, which is only like 15 yards, 10 yards maybe, just to try to get an idea, just to try to get, something on the ball, like that. So when you can hit them like that, like I just did with that little wiffle ball now, it's not the real golf ball, those are great for younger to start out with. Gives you confidence. It's fun to hit inside also. If it's a rainy day, you can hit it indoor as well. And you can get the opportunity to try to get a little bit more onto, the ball without having to put, a lot into it. That's the challenge. So, if I see it in here, I'm going to try to come up a little bit more on it, just like that. That was a perfect one. If I see my stroke level, how I came into the ball too, it's pretty good. I leveled into the ball, set myself, and try to give myself a good little hit on the ball. Remember, the whole key is going to be to make sure that you have a good stroke. Okay, you saw I didn't go all the way back real deep. Some kids will want to go back here, really crush it on, and we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to go with, if that's my target right there, I want to be able to put enough to get to my target. So enough to get to my target, again, okay, is to make sure that I can get enough back on the ball, okay, to really get into my target. So watch on. So if I get into here, I want to be able to watch. Good job. And watch and focus into here again, okay? So watch and focus. Now I hit that a little bit too much. Golf challenges sometimes the grasses. So if the grass is a little bit higher like this one is, still can't make that excuse. Got to still make it work. Then I have to work a little bit more. My challenge is to hit a little higher than I normally would. Normally I'm on a golf course, I'll be right down in here and I'm able to get down into the area a lot more, into the surface. Here on top, because the balls are sitting a little higher, I have to kind of challenge myself to know that, okay, when I swing through, I have to hit a little bit higher on the ball because the ball is sitting higher. Okay? So we'll try to focus it again. And the idea, you see I'm getting a good stroke on the ball. I'm going to set them up one more time. I'm not just bringing it up here. I'm going across the grass. I bring it across the grass like this, then I'm able to bring it back through for a nice easy stroke on the ball. So when I bring it through, you can see I actually touch the blades of grass back and then be able to hit my ball up into where it's going to go. Okay? Now, as I mentioned before, with the wiffle balls, fun to hit, go up with a little bit more height when you hit them just right. The challenge is sometimes on the different grasses that we play on, you have to understand where you're going to be hitting. So if the ball sits lower, I go lower. If the ball sits higher, I have to go higher. So you'll see the difference. If I had a ball down here, I'm hitting way into the ground and everything works well. But if I'm hitting a little bit higher here, that causes me and forces me to have to go higher than I normally do, make a different adjustment depending on what the grass I'm playing on, okay? So when I'm trying to line up on this one, try to get a good hit on it, I'm coming in, I focus back here, come back under, swing, follow through, and you'll see my body end up over there, okay? So the whole movement has to be like this. So when I hit, you'll see my movement on my legs. Look at my legs too. They don't just stay here and just look, just hit and go like this. They make sure they go into the full motion also. So if I'm back here, you can see my back swing right now is on and level, and then I'm going to be in. So you'll see it in fast motion now. Okay, so I'm level on. I'm not going to hit the ball yet. I'm just going to get my ideal, okay? And you can see my positioning again. And the hold of my club is very important. Look how I guide it. Put a thumb down in here in this area. I cover up my other thumb here. Some don't cover up their thumb. They like to keep it a little bit more flexible. I like to keep it tight. So I cover up my other thumb, hold it inside here with my 4 fingers. Okay, so we're going to show again just that proper stance, the hold, ready position, and getting ready, and watch how my body position is also. Again, I don't just come up and I just hit it like this and that's it. Okay, some people come up, think you just hit it and that's, the form. The form you have to have has to kind of go in a nice glide. It all kind of flows together. So when you're looking at this, when you're trying to learn, okay, you're making sure that, like I said, you're going to keep the grip on now. Try to find the proper grip. Okay, you don't want to hold it like this. You don't want to hold 2 of them like this. If I'm a right-handed hitter like I'm doing right now, okay, I want to make sure that I can take advantage of that left one first. Right one is my closer to make sure it does the job, so it gives me that balance and it all stays nice and even together. So if you look at my fingers right now, you can see one will come on top of the other. Some like keeping it a little bit more balanced and a little bit more open. I like to close it because it gives me a lot more support on the ball. Okay, and you can see my follow through. So if you watch my knees and watch my body as I'm coming through, I'm not trying to hit the ball, I'm just trying to go beside it just to kind of get some practice swings into it. So you can see again, I'm set up, I follow in, I'm watching the ball. I know how far I'm bringing back the club right now, and then I got to make it kind of come in together and regroup into the ball, okay? But it all comes into a good motion. So remember, again, making sure first, body is positioned on the ball. Where does the ball go? In between my legs, middle of my legs, right down my head. I always say keep my nose on the ball. Don't want to turn in. I want to keep my eye focused in. I don't want to stay too tight on the ball to where I don't get a good enough swing on the ball, because it's not going to cause me to get any kind of follow through to where I need to be able to get into that ball. And you can see my legs when I have that distance on the ball. I said you want to be right now from that distance to you, probably about maybe 1.5 feet, okay? So 1.5 feet you have from that, not too far out, not sticking your bottom back out too far, keeping your body and your back, you know, kind of at a bend, but not too much at a bend. Okay, it's kind of like we've talked about, try to have a balance. So here we go. So if I'm doing a practice one again, I want to make sure I got a good steady position. Knees are bent, okay? So my knees are bent right now. I've got the opportunity to get myself into my swing. I'm holding on, I'm not holding out too far here, holding nice and tight, shoulder width, okay? Keep myself in. My hold, my thumb here on the one, my other balanced thumb here. I've got myself positioned, and then I'm going to come through with my stroke. So now we're going to give it to a little bit of full life, okay? So now we're coming into this. The challenge sometimes is if this ball is buried too hard, I have to go too low. If the ball is a little bit higher, okay, in a good grass, then I can easily, you know, adjust myself to be able to hit the ball. But depending on the grasses I'm in too, is a challenge, okay? So we're going to try to go through and see what we got here. I haven't hit the ball probably in about the last 3 minutes, but I'm going to make sure we can kind of get through the idea. And there you go. Okay, I'm getting through my swing. I hit maybe a little bit too hard than I really wanted to put on it, but that's okay. Now I go for the wiffle ball effect. So I do the same thing here, bring it back. I'm going to get another hit on this, just so I can get right through it, and then I can't get the good little part I want to get sometimes on it. So hopefully we get a good one on this one. Body again, positioned, got myself set, all in, and there we go, look at that. Almost perfect into how I had my whole stroke. And you could see my whole technique was right on. I watched it all the way through. I could feel that it was going to be good too, with the way I was positioned. I could feel I was going to have a pretty good hit. Now this is going to be a challenge. I got some grass in front of it, but I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm going to try to build right through it because I'm better than that, and I think I can do it. So I'm going to stay right in here, position myself, stroke my stroke back, and be able to hit like I just did. Now I'm going to try to get a little bit higher this time and try to get it in my hole. The big hole I have down there, I made that so you can have confidence and always trying to hit for something. Of course, the hole is going to be a lot smaller when you start really getting into golf a little bit more. But for young people right now, you want to give them as much confidence as possible. Okay, so the key is going to be getting an opportunity to hit the ball up into a good little area. Okay, so it gives you confidence, and to make sure you want to make sure you have the positioning, the proper positioning, because proper positioning is going to be important again when we're trying to hit this. So my positioning again, thumbs straight in line together. Okay, body slightly bent, fall back. Look at that one, almost perfect.
Yeah, that was clean.
Four. That one almost could have been better, except I didn't make it. Okay, so here we go on this one again. Again, a wiffle ball. So you saw my positioning, that was the key. Making sure I'm properly positioned, slightly bent, not too much, not too tall, just right. Okay, you can feel it. Then you're going to come back here. Like I said, again, I'm going to stroke back in that grass to be able to get my opportunity. So here I am, stroke back, up, couldn't get real good height on it. Now watch this one high here. I had to come higher on here. My higher challenge now, usually I can go down lower here. You can see the difference. Got a whole club, so a whole golf head. So right now, I need to be able to go higher. So if I'm going to come in higher on this one, I got to go here, and then had to go high. Main thing is so you're getting that positioning. Once you get that, you're getting pretty comfortable. Then you get out in different grasses. When you get out in different grasses, you can get a better range of what you're going to be able to add, you know, to your program. Okay. So again, I bring it back here. Ooh, got a good little chip on that, but it just didn't get the roll like I wanted to get. But I got the perfect chip. And the idea was, as soon as I came through, I was facing forward exactly where it goes. So watch me again. And that's the key right now. Yeah, it's troubled and challenging grasses, but we're still trying to get that little follow through. We'll try to get it again here. This guy might give it to me. I had to go a little higher on him. So I get myself positioned again, middle, about 1.5 feet. Okay, about 1.5 feet. And then when I have that positioning now I can bend in, make sure my thumbs are nice and straight. I like to keep it this way. I think it's great for little people to try to keep a better balance. So this way you're totally in control of your club. If I'm too loose in here, it gives me too much looseness here and it can mess me up. So I want to make sure I can keep total control of that club. Okay, so again, I'm focused on, swing in, and then I get my follow through to go through. Okay.